The Suit of Cups is more than just being emotional. If you've just started studying tarot, or you've been learning for a while, or maybe you're a seasoned reader, this is going to be a dive into the Suit of Cups. I'm Henry Alexander, and this is the Book of Mirrors. In our last episode, we explored 5 different theories that seek to explain the suits of the minor arcana. We applied those theories to the Suit of Pentacles, but this time, we're going to go ahead and explore the Suit of Cups. Cups are commonly interpreted as having to do with emotion, intuition, and love. But we know there's a lot more than just that. We'll apply our same 5 theories that we've covered previously to the Suit of Cups. We'll look at things from the psyche all the way to the cosmos. Our first theory is the psychological theory. Through this lens, cups don't just correspond with emotions, but they also correspond with our own vulnerability. The vulnerability that's necessary in building relationships with other people. Not only do relationships require vulnerability, but they also require emotional intelligence. Cups don't just correspond to raw emotion, but also our own ability to analyze and reflect on our own emotions. In some ways, you can think of cups as your sign to stop and look within. This theory is explored in more depth in the Therapy Chat podcast and the Archetypal Tarot podcast. Our second theory is the elemental theory, where each suit corresponds with a different esoteric element. Now, these elements don't mean the literal elements. We're not talking about literal fire and literal water. We're talking about certain traits that are associated with those elements. Whereas pentacles corresponded to the element of earth, cups, appropriately, correspond to the element of water. Think about it. A cup can usually hold a liquid, such as water. In this theory, cups represent the flow and the natural progression and change of feelings and emotions. We're not happy one second, and then the next second we're sad. There's a gradual shift in emotions. Sometimes it's a quicker shift, but it's not immediate. This is explored in more depth in the YouTube channel, Modern Tarot with F. Remember, cups correspond with water. Our third theory is the astrological theory. In this theory, each suit corresponds to an element, which further corresponds to the appropriate zodiac signs. Pentacles corresponded to the earth signs in the zodiac, but cups correspond with the water signs, those being Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. When we use this system, we'll typically match cards with different traits which correspond with the zodiac signs. We could think of cards in the cup suit as having to do with a nurturing nature, or maybe dreamy idealism, or emotional mystery or danger. This is discussed in much more depth, pun intended, on the Astrology podcast. You'll also find more information on this in Astrology with Heather. When you start going through all the cards in the cups suit, you'll start to notice these correspondences between traits of the zodiac and certain cards. It starts to become second nature when you see a card, and then you start describing the zodiac sign. Before we continue to our next theory, if you're enjoying this episode, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And you can find a full reference list at bookofmirrorspc.com. Now, our fourth theory is the alchemical theory. Again, alchemy in modern day doesn't refer to the literal changing of lead to gold. Instead, it's used as a metaphor for improving oneself, taking something crude and basic, our lead self, and improving it until it becomes as perfect as it can be, our gold self. This process goes through in stages, and cups corresponds to the stage of dissolution. This stage is when we dissolve the substance in water. This represents a stage of letting go, or it can be a stage of merging into togetherness, oneness, into yourself. Regardless, this is a quest, this is a journey, but it's an emotional one. It's one where we have to allow ourselves to feel our feelings, to reflect on them, and to ask ourselves why we feel the way we do about certain things. Only when we put ourselves under the microscope can we grow and get closer to our gold self. Now, the last theory is the social class theory. In this theory, cups corresponds to the clergy or the spiritual class. If you think of the clergy as being someone who must temper, understand, and work with their own emotions and beliefs, you could think of this as the Buddha's journey, as he strove to deal with his own feelings, temptations, and longings, trying to find contentment within himself. It's that loss that we feel, seeking divine connection, only to realize upon reflection that the divine is within ourselves the entire time. Which of these theories resonates most with you? Remember, cups are not just about feelings, about being sad or being happy. It's about the change of state, the constant flow that we go through. Water is adaptable. It changes shape to match whatever container it's in. And that's how we need to learn to be. We need to look at our emotions, recognize what we're feeling, determine if it's appropriate, and then try to embrace it or shift it into something else. We cannot live our lives pushing off our emotions. We have to embrace them. If you fall into a river, it's best to swim with the current, not against it.